What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing? Let me put on my video here. Uh, let's see. So we got Eric and Keegan, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
How are you?
Good, you?
I'm doing great. Let me turn off this thing. Anyway, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Do I sound like you can hear me twice, or is it just on my...
Great. All right.
I can only hear you the once.
Okay. And it's Jorge?
George it says
Yeah.
according to that.
So am I delayed in any way?
Just a little
It-
bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Just let me know if I'm delayed or I'm you know
Okay,
because it.
and you can still hear me? Okay.
I don't know if like the not sure how it works.
Can you still hear me,
I
Eric?
can hear you.
Yeah.
I
okay.
can hear you, Keegan.
Oh, so Jorge. Is it Jorge or George?
Jorge.
Jorge.
Or
Okay.
hey. Okay.
We're gonna stream on
Yes.
Twitch. You were told this?
Sound like we hate each other. We don't. We just known each other for years. We'll go to you.
Okay.
I will mispronounce your name. It's
Okay.
not on purpose. It's just an accident. Also, if there's anything you don't want to talk about, please just let us know
Uh-huh.
in advance,
Okay.
and we will avoid that. Once we say goodbye, please don't leave right away because obviously
Right.
we'll walk up.
Right.
And if anything you didn't like that we talked about, I don't know if you talked about the fact that you like um where those stupid Easter candies, the peeps, and you're like, I don't want people in the world to know I like peeps.
Right.
We will obviously just not include that.
Okay. All right.
They're
And
not
then
stupid candies. They're
Uh,
delicious. Marshmallow.
they're not good.
They're
They're
delicious.
they're the terrible things. Just
Yeah.
get a marshmallow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then just we'll pretty much go from there. We've got some questions planned out in advance, and we have
Cool.
some, and then we have then, but obviously, like if the conversation flows elsewhere,
Right.
we'll follow that way.
Is it
Right.
cool if I share my screen when we're talking about the comic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Keegan, are we recording?
No, we're not. We're not.
Okay, so we should probably.
But we're streaming. And don't worry, nobody watches our stream. It's merely for practice. It's conceptual, you know.
Uh-huh.
Just the
Okay.
idea of streaming is what we're.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're now recording. Also, Eric.
Okay.
All right.
Right. We need a catchphrase.
I have a catchphrase this week, and I think you're gonna love it.
Okay.
Ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you didn't answer. You didn't ask.
I said okay. So I meant okay. You can continue, and you can tell me your catchphrase.
Well, you didn't like. Yeah, but you weren't like. You were just like okay.
Well,
You weren't excited. I wanted you to be like
You
excited
are
about this.
literally 0% in the win column, so it's kind of like, oh, I have to go through this pain again.
Right.
See,
Hey,
our guest to be named later is already agreeing.
okay. Well, now I'm all nervous about. I'm all self-aware
Okay, well, you can go ahead and
about this
try.
catchphrase, especially since you have our guest in your corner.
Just because your catchphrases aren't good and the guest is usually in my corner for that reason is
Right.
no reason to be upset, Keegan.
Fine.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not even going to share it this week. I'm not
Okay.
sharing. Maybe next week.
Maybe next week. All right.
Because it was so good that now I'm afraid that you'd still shoot it down just in principle.
Right.
Okay. I tell you what. Boy Scouts promise.
Were you a Boy Scout?
I was
You
a Boy
ever
Scout.
I have trouble believing that.
I was a Boy Scout for a week and got bored and quit.
I could not imagine you as a Boy Scout.
I was a fantastic Boy Scout for that 1 week.
For a week. Yeah.
So, Boy Scouts promise.
Okay.
I will not judge.
No, I'm still not sharing. And
Okay.
now we know that you were only a Boy Scout for a week,
I'm not ashamed about that.
which is great. How about this for a catchphrase this week?
Okay.
We're good for a week.
No, that doesn't work for me.
That's
though.
a good catchphrase. Say our name.
It does.
Say our name.
The dumb comic creators.
We're good for a week.
No, because we want to be good for many, many years. That's like selling ourselves short.
But I mean, like, it's good for a week. It's like, you're good for a week.
That's like when you talk about food, the expiration date. Your chicken, it's good for a week.
It's good.
Your
Chicken's only supposedly good for like 3 days, and then
It
you
depends
have to
what
freeze
type.
it.
It depends.
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Well, we should tell the people who we are. I mean, first, I'm a man with no name.
Okay.
Well,
And I'm a
who
man
are-
with
who-
a name,
Yeah,
and we are dumb
dumb
comic
comic
creators.
creators.
Great.
I am Eric
Oh,
Schwartz,
so
and
you
you are.
have a name. So you.
Okay, I chose it just now.
Okay. Great.
I choose myself to be Eric Schwartz.
And I'm Keegan Shiner, and today's guest is Jorge.
George Zappanopoulos.
No.
Yes.
Eric does this really stupid. This is his stupid bit where he gets our guest name wrong every single episode. Yeah.
It's not on purpose, Keegan. Only
I don't
according
think
to you
it's funny at all, and
I don't think it's funny either.
I
It's
wish
a
you would
terrible
stop.
thing to do. I upset my guest every single time. The first thing I've done is upset Jorge, and
Yes.
he's gonna spend the entire time,
So you do know how
aggressively.
to say his name.
I don't. I don't.
Jorge
I do now.
Zevallos. Jorge
Right.
Zevallos, right? Is that how you?
Zevallos. Yeah.
Zevallos.
Yeah,
Zevallos.
you're
Zevallos.
close.
Jorge
You're close.
Zevallos.
Mhm.
Jorge Zevallos.
Yes.
Okay, and he is the creator of Wall Breakers. It's a indie comic. It's a one-shot comic.
Right.
And Jorge, where are you from?
Well, from New York.
Cool.
Basically just born and raised, and yeah, just been here most of my life, and just kind of been learning how to draw. Went to school for it. I think there's a school here in New York called the School of Visual Arts,
Okay.
which is kind of interesting because back when I got out of high school, like I didn't really know what the I already didn't care about a lot of stuff, so I was I did a lot of drawing, but I was like, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. So
Yeah.
and I wanted to go there just because at the time, like I kind of wanted to learn like how to draw comics seriously, and I heard there were some pretty good like professionals that still taught there. But when I got in there, like I actually wanted to be taught by Carmine Infantino. Like I heard he was teaching there,
Oh, cool.
but he had like stepped out when I came in. So, and
Ah.
Will Eisner by that time, I think he was not even like, I think he was not even alive at that point
Oh.
anymore. So yeah, so and all the all the guys, like all the people that are into art, like Bern Hogarth, like yeah, they're all dead and gone. So, but I decided to go there anyway. But yeah, so that's kind of how it started for me, really.
Oh,
But,
cool.
yeah.
That's funny. You sound like everyone who went to art school. It's like I
Hmm.
was really super excited about it, but then it is what it is, and like
Yeah.
like your voice just drops, and you're like,
Yeah.
it was okay. But
Yeah.
you end
No.
up being like a really fantastic artist, I think, at the end. But I guess
Yeah.
nobody like gets the art school experience they expect, I guess.
No, I don't know if you remember a movie years ago. It's called Art School
I
Confidential.
love
I don't
that
know
movie. Love
right.
that
So
movie.
that movie I remember seeing in the theater, and it really was kind of accurate
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. Art School, yeah, it was kind of accurate.
So
That's why I laughed so hard. Yeah.
I went to like a Midwest Big Ten school for
Hmm.
college, but then I went to grad school at the School of the Museum of Fine Art in
Hmm.
Boston.
Yeah.
And so I watched that movie as research for like as like what am I getting myself into, because I'd never
Yes.
been in an art setting like at
Hmm.
all ever. And
Right.
and Eric and I were doing comedy in Chicago, and that's kind of how I ended up doing performance art. So
Okay.
so yeah, I relate I relate to that. That's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Go ahead.
I asked every single person from New York this question. Have you been to the Lemon Ice Cream Corona, and did you enjoy it there?
Say again. The Corona.
The
What'd you say?
Lemon Ice King of Corona.
What is that?
It's the number one lemon ice place in New York. So
Oh.
pretty much I think it might be in the world.
Oh.
And so I always go there whenever I visit New York. I have family up there, so I don't. It's not
Oh.
too infrequently.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, it's the first time I've heard of this. So
okay,
I
well
don't
I
know.
recommend it. I'm not sure where it is exactly, but
Where is it, in Queens? Is that
I think it's
Maybe.
in Queens.
Hmm.
My grandmother used to live in Queen. Both my and
Queens?
my cousins all live there. So
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I might check it out. Yeah. Sure.
we had a guest on another podcast, and it was
Oh, look. Okay. I
yeah,
see.
it was like
All right.
literally
Oh, Italian ices. Okay.
yeah, Italian ices, yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
and yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I
And it's
see.
so like I remember so like last time I was in New York, we ended up going I think 4 times in 3 days because well we went like for the first day we arrived there like it's not too far from the airport, so we picked it up on the way back.
Uh-huh.
The second day we ended up going twice because we went up once in the morning, and then the rest of our family was like, oh, we want to go. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll go again.
Uh-huh.
And then we had one on the third day when we were leaving for the airport. So
Right. That's too much, man.
no, it's not enough actually. I disagree. I think it's not enough.
Okay. But
So
yeah, go ahead.
Jorge, is this your
Mhm.
first comic? Ball Breakers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually I mean, I've been doing comics like on and off over the years, like since I left college.
Okay.
And for different things like just short comics, like short 6 pagers. And there was a time where I was like doing the usual thing, like again, we're talking like several years ago. We're talking back in 2007, like almost obviously over a decade. And at that time it was like you do your pages and then you take it to the few comic conventions that there are in New York. There was maybe like 2 or 3 maybe a year. So you would do your pages, then you take it to the con, and then they tell you, oh, you're not ready, blah blah blah, whatever. So, and that's kind of the thing that was going on for a while. And it's true, there was, it is disheartening. Like when you're a young artist, you take it to the editor, and he'll be like, it's like a bunch of gatekeepers. They're like, oh, oh, you're not ready, blah blah blah, blah, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's true. Like I remember back when they had the New York Comic Con, like the first year in the Jacob Javits. So there was like barely nobody there, but they had like a portfolio review like for Marvel. So they had like CV Sobolski there,
Oh, cool.
and then so I showed him my stuff, and he's just like, it's just, he could tell that the storytelling was good, but at that time maybe the draftsmanship wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
So they give you the usual stuff, and he was right, um, but so that kind of did a lot of that for a while, but then at some point, you know, I because I a lot of the commercial stuff, like the Marvel stuff and the DC stuff, like um I don't know, like even the modern stuff, the most recent kind of styles and stuff, like it never really pulled me in, like it never attracted me for some reason. Like a lot of the modern stuff, I just see kind of like hybrids of older artists. Like I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody like Adam Hughes, right? Like you know Adam Hughes. I'm assuming you know Adam Hughes.
Yes.
Do you know Adam Hughes?
Uh,
Like, no? Okay.
we're more
So
of like writers, but
okay, well you could Google.
yeah, yeah.
So you could look up Adam Hughes. He's pretty well known to do like mostly cover work and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
he's been around for a while. But then you look at like so you look at Adam Hughes, right? So you got Adam Hughes right here.
Okay.
And then now I want you to Google Terry Dodson. Okay, I'm just trying to make a point here.
Okay.
So you Google Terry Dodson. Now look at this is Terry Dodson. Now those two styles are two different artists, and yet
Very
they
similar.
look
Yeah.
similar, right? And
Yes.
and I see a lot of that stuff. It's like, and I'm just like, this is I don't know, like I don't like that. Like you should do your own thing. You shouldn't like literally behold to another artist and then you're like, I want to be just like that guy. Like, no, you should like you take inspiration and you do your own thing. And I saw a lot of that, like basically comic artists just kind of copying other artists, and then they get work, but it's not unique.
It's not unique. They don't have their own style.
Right. And not that I'm knocking that, but that's just I don't really like that. And there's a lot of people that I can kind of you go into a store and you'd be like, wow, this looks like Nick Bradshaw, or let's say like I think there's a guy called Nick Bradshaw, and then he looks like Arthur Adams or something. Like I think it's how it is. Yeah, like okay, look at Nick Bradshaw, right? This is a kind of a fun game. Look at Nick Bradshaw.
No, I love
right?
this game. Yeah, I
right.
love it.
Now,
I love it.
Now Google Arthur Adams.
Okay.
Okay. And you can see.
So he has like sort of like this.
Yeah, hyper, like kind of cartoony, like a bunch of lines and stuff like that.
Okay, and now look up
Arthur Adams, right?
Arthur Adams.
Look up Arthur Adams, right? And tell me their styles are not like identical. Like
yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, so I see a lot of that and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Now,
so,
is that because Marvel or like the people they're drawing for are telling them to draw similar?
No, I just think that it's a issue with comic artists specifically where they learn to draw by copying other comic artists instead of like drawing from life and then creating their own style out of just life, right? That's kind of what you want to do. You don't want to because what happens is you pick up all of the errors of the artist that you like, all those little ticks that they have that maybe make their work imperfect. You inherit that in the DNA of your work. So if that artist that you like for whatever reason cannot draw a variety of faces, then you're gonna have the same problem. All the problems that they have, you're gonna have. And I see that a lot. And so after a while, I just I haven't really bought a lot of the mainstream stuff really, just because that's a big, not that art is the main reason why I pick up a book nowadays. We're talking back then. I was much more, I came into comics more on the superficial level. It's like I like the visuals and the art was secondary. But as I got older, I was like, I need to have something to really sink my teeth into. Like I want some content and not just, like pretty pictures and stuff. So that's kind of what happens. But to get back to the wall breakers thing, I just realized like, all right, you know what? I don't really care about the Marvel anymore. Like I don't care about this. Like I like Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, by the way. It's like my favorite hero.
Oh, interesting.
But Spider-Man is no longer Spider-Man anymore. They kind of turned him into like, I don't know, this kind of like, I don't know, they like this kind of kiddie, like PG-13 version of Deadpool is joking around all the time. It's just silly. And yeah,
a character for the masses, how I describe him. Like he used
Yeah.
to be more adult. I mean, for crying out, he's not sure. Spoiler alert for like over
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Right.
He might have killed Gwen Stacy, or he let Gwen Stacy die.
Right.
Which is pretty dark if you think about it. I mean,
Right.
and now he's like, "How you doing, Aunt
It's
May?"
just a joke.
Yeah.
It's a hokey, and I don't know the direction, but you know, I can tell you that Spider-Man is we're talking like traditional Peter Parker Spider-Man, because that character was really all about morality. He was kind of like a soap opera-esque type of a book, you know, because he had issues with the girlfriend and he can't pay the rent, and blah blah blah. And I liked the morality of that character, how, you know, he never has good luck. He's always like losing things.
Yeah.
But that says a lot about the character, because it's like, man, like I don't want to be, you know, why do I have to keep doing this? Like I don't want to do this anymore. And but every time he says that, you know, it's that Uncle Ben thing. It's like, well, I mean, look what happened when you thought about yourself last time. You can't do that. So it's like this constant tension with that character, and it's really a wonderful character because it's a tragic character, you know, but it's very much into morality. That's the Spider-Man that I love, not this like Disney XD corny, you know, everything is a joke. Like that's not for me. So
right, it's like the Josh Whedon universe.
Yeah. It's just
where
like,
everything's like this corny comeback line.
Right. And he did do that. You know, he did do that, but it wasn't like the entire. You know, he did that to cover up his insecurities. That's why he did that.
Right.
So he was much more of like he had two personalities. He got that like really insecure kind of a geek guy, but then when he puts the mask on and he's talking out loud, you know, he's cracking jokes, but that's not him. You know, he's just kind of messing around, and I like that. But I don't know. What do you think of Spider-Man? What do you think of that character?
I am more of a DC fan, but like I know Spider-Man because I have a 6-year-old nephew, and his favorite superhero is Spider-Man. So
so does he know like the traditional Spider-Man, or he's more into like the newer iteration?
He's more into the newer one because he got introduced to the newer ones because my sister, his mom, has kind of said no. She's like, I don't need him crying to me at night.
Right.
And like, and the original Spider-Man was kind of scary. I mean, like he was at one point hunted and stuff. I mean, so like the current one is much more family friendly. Like he loves Into the Spider-Verse. Like he loves the anime character one. So stuff like that. So.
Right. And what about you, Keegan? Are you into Spider-Man now?
I think I'm more of an X-Men fan myself.
See, okay, now that you bring up, because I had a friend who was like really into X-Men.
Yeah.
Explain it to me, and then I'll get to the DC, because I'm kind of curious to talk to a DC guy, because I'm not like, I never was really into that, but that's why I asked. But let me go to the X-Men first. So explain to me, what is it about the X-Men that you like, that you enjoy?
So I think it was because they were outsiders that were constantly being like harassed, but then also like kind of holding up the world, you know, like saving the world too.
Right.
But I also like that they all had powers that were interesting. It's sort of like a bunch of, like, there was always a new character with a new power that was like interesting, you know. So
I always like that they could follow the cliches. Jubilee's gonna screw up. Rose gonna get captured. Somehow Wolverine's gonna do. He's gonna be like at one point screwed. He's gonna be like at one point screwed. I'll do it myself. And
yeah, they had good personalities too. Like they had smart and stupid and brash, and you know.
Yeah, I had a friend that was like that. I mean, you remember when they had those shows on Fox? Like they had the animated shows. Yeah. So you know, at that time they had like Spider-Man and they had like X-Men.
Right.
And I always tune in for, oh my god, I love Spider-Man. But my friend he would record the X-Men, and I just, I appreciated the animation. I thought the animation was pretty good for that show.
Oh yeah.
But I think I'm just more of a solo guy. I just feel like, Peter. I mean, what does he have? He had like
nothing.
Webbing, and then like his intelligence, and that's it. Like, I mean, he didn't. It's not like the new Spider-Man where it's like, oh, I want to be Iron Man. Like, what are you talking about? You're Spider-Man. Be like, oh, I don't know if I can be the next Iron Man. Dude, he has like 100 different web shooters and like 50 different suits.
No way.
Like, that's not. This is what pisses me off. It's like I'm watching this, Disney version,
right?
And I'm like, that is not Spider-Man.
Like, it's not the same thing. Yeah.
No, and so, but the X-Men, like, I appreciated it, but for some reason I never like really got into it. I like the characters.
Gosh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, because it's the teams, like the team stuff. I don't know. I like the solo. It's a little harder.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
They also had the Iron Man cartoon for a little while.
Right.
They had a bunch of them. They had Iron Man, like they had gargoyles. Like those are all by the same illustrators, though. Or not illustrators. Animators. Yeah.
Okay. Right. And but let me real quick. Let me say, because I know you.
I'm also a big Batman fan. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right.
That's my other one. Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting into the DC. Right. So let me ask, I guess, Keegan first, and then I'll ask Eric. So tell me, what is it about Batman that you like?
I think it was the solo part of Batman, but he had a lot of gadgets too. He never killed anyone, which was cool. Yeah.
Didn't he kill people like back in the day? Like,
I don't think so.
No, in the original versions he did kill people.
Golden Age. Yeah.
Oh, really?
In the Golden Age he did kill people, but he wouldn't use his rule was he wouldn't use a gun. He just he didn't mind killing people. And then it kind of morphed into the Silver Age where he's like I'm not going to kill people. I'll just break your back and break your legs and be like, cripple.
Yeah, let me paralyze you. That's better.
He was a good detective too.
Yeah. Okay. So so Eric, what about you? What about do you like Batman? Because I know you're a DC guy, so I don't know if you like.
I do like Batman. Probably my favorite was comics of his was The Court of Owls, which is a couple years ago.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
It's just probably one of the best. Like the initial judgment of Court of Owls is probably one of the single just best issue comics I've ever read in my life. If you ever read it, like he drinks. Spoiler alert: he drinks water, he starts going crazy, and as he's starting to go crazy from like having drunk like acid, pretty much. The comic makes you rotate the comic around to read it. So like you have to turn it up, so you turn it to the side, then you turn it upside down, and as in each time as it goes further and further on, it used to be that it was in the first 5 pages that you switch, then it becomes 3, then it becomes 2, then it becomes 1, then you're switching it, and then you realize that he's actually lost the fight by this point.
So, do you think that the rotation of the comic technique, do you think that was effective?
It was really effective, and it was, you put it when we were talking about talk back to with the illustrators. Yeah. It was something original because at some point if you've seen DC artwork, you see it doesn't matter if it's Green Lantern, Green. Or Batman or a Flash, a lot of the art was very similar. I mean, for a little while, Flash had its own solo artwork, but a lot of all the major ones, Justice League, they are all they didn't differ from person to person.
Yeah, it's
and it was something different and something unique that I hadn't seen before. And at that point, I was working at a comic book store, so I was reading comics all the time.
Yeah, I remember that technique has been done before. I think I remember John Romita would do something like that on the Punisher Warzone. He would he would draw he would do a double page spread, except you know how the spread is like horizontal, you open the book and it's a landscape thing.
Yeah.
John Romita would have it where he would draw where you had to turn the book vertical, that's what he would do. And I don't know why he did that. I mean, I don't know. He just, I guess he wanted to be different or something. So people try to like reinvent the wheel, and it's like a hit and miss sometimes. But I heard about Court of Owls, but actually, I just saw real quick. I saw the Batman animated series. I have HBO Max, and they have those episodes now. On HBO Max, and let me tell you, man. Blu-ray is like I just love Blu-ray because it shows you like the clarity of the animation. I mean, I could see the hairs on the film, like the little hairs sometimes that get caught, and you could see it, and it's just fantastic, and the coloring of the background, and it's just I love it. I could tell where they sent that animation, what studio. Like when the animation is like awesome, it's either coming from Japan or like Korea or something. Like animation was amazing, and then when you go to Canada, it's like sorry,
not as good.
But yeah. So it's cool though. But yeah, no, the Batman character for me, I think it's what I like, because I'm not a huge DC guy, but I do have a lot of respect for it because it's very much like a traditional. There's a lot of a royalty when it comes to DC because of the whole history with superhero comics, and they're a big part of that with Action Comics. The Batman character, I like it because essentially he is kind of a crazy person. I mean, he is. Yeah, he deals his own kind of vigilante justice,
right?
And he has his own type of morality, and it's good that they took away the killing, because if he killed, he basically would just be like the Punisher,
a maniac. Yeah,
he would be like a worse. But so I like that, but the fact that he has all this money, he has all this wealth, but he's like running out there and putting his life in danger. He's kind of a nutcase, dressed up as a bat, and the Bruce Wayne is like the mask, right? Batman is like that's him. That's kind of what makes him so crazy. All he does is like sit in his library just thinking.
Yeah,
that's pretty all he does. Right, and it's like there's a scene in Batman Returns. I don't know if you remember. It was like perfect. They had Michael Keaton sitting there, and he's just sitting in the giant library, like in the dark, just sitting. I was like, when I saw that scene, I was like, that is the most Batman scene I think I've ever seen. He's just a guy there, and then the bat signal like shows up in the library or something, and he stands up. he heard the pizza. Oh, the pizza's here. It's like it's amazing. Yeah, I tell people like, wow.
So, Bruce, what do you do with your free time? I like spending time in libraries. Oh, you like to read?
Right.
No, I don't like to read. I like to spend time in libraries.
He's just sitting there, like brewing, like he's a fucking nut.
Yeah.
But I like it. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about your comic.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or actually, I have a quick question.
Okay, let's not talk about your comic now.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, just before you do that, you kind of talked about, you brushed about it earlier. Yeah. I used to always ask this question, like, what recommendation would you give to new comic book people? Like, obviously, like, I assume it's gonna be something along the lines of, don't be afraid to be original. Just
yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you mean like you're asking me like what advice I would give? Is that what it is?
Yeah, what advice did you give?
Okay. Yeah, I would say well, just be really expect to make a ton of mistakes, because that's just the way it is. Like, you're gonna make this, and that's actually, the sooner you accept that reality, like, your drawings are gonna, what you're looking for are drawings that suck. Like, that's what you're actually looking for. Everything you do, even when you write things, it's like, I'm looking for the stuff that is freaking horrible, so that you can identify, like, okay, this doesn't work, and I know for a fact now. It's like, it's not in my head, because sometimes you think of things in your head and you go, yeah, that could work, and you're kind of like in your imagination. You gotta see it, like, you gotta read it,
right?
You gotta like have it on paper, and then when you read it out loud or you see it with your eyes, you're like, in my head this sounded good, but now that I'm reading it,
yeah,
I don't think this works.
That's how it is. Yeah.
Right. So, but that's that's actually the fun part. Just know that, the more that you're like, the more you suck, like, the closer, again, if you're like being honest and you're kind of humble about it, the closer you are to like getting through all of the bad stuff, and then you're tightening up, you're perfecting it, but you got to kind of go through that. That's the only way. It's like you kind of have to like prepare to destroy your ego, you know. And then if you do that and you're like honest, oh man, it's like you're gonna accelerate like crazy, because what you don't want are a bunch of people that are like, you're great, hey, your writing is like, oh my god, it's awesome. No, you want people to go, yeah, this works, this doesn't work,
Yeah.
this really sucks, and
Yeah.
then but at least like, you know, you could get different opinions, but I always tell people ultimately, like, if you're honest and you're like a humble person, you know where you're good and where you suck. Like you just know, you know. I mean, even when I was taking the wall breakers, like I was taking it around to conventions. I showed that book to like so many professionals.
Oh.
Jorge, I think we just lost you.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Am I good?
Oh yeah. Now I can hear you
again.
Okay. So what was the last thing you heard me say?
You
I
showed
was
the book
ranting.
to so many professionals.
Right. So I showed it to a lot of professionals, and I did it because I just wanted to have fun with the book, because as an artist, like there aren't many places to show your stuff really, and I just like that. I like the criticism. I like people's feedback, but I always knew where the book could have improved, where it had some errors, where I could have so I just did it just to start conversation, and it was fun showing it to like I showed it to a bunch of artists like John Paul Leon and Walt Simonson, Louis Simonson, a whole bunch of people. I can't even remember, there was so many, like Eric Larson, I showed it to him.
Oh cool.
It was like, yeah, there was David Mazzucchelli, there's a whole bunch of people. So it was fun. It was fun. But that's kind of the only thing that I would say to people is like, just you want to look for the bad. I mean, I say bad in quotations because it's really good, but that's what you're looking for, and then that's how you like really get good really fast. That's what Wall Breakers did for me. Wall Breakers was like, I learned. Oh my god, I learned like so much on that book. I really did. It was really hard too to make it, but.
Yeah. Tell us about how you started the book.
Yeah, it's the idea was
I'm gonna share my screen so we can look at it. Yeah.
Right. No, the idea was that I had drawn like a sort of a comic book like one summer. I think it was like after I had graduated, and it was only like 6 pages. It was black and white. And it was this basic, like 6-page story of like, with no dialogue, just a guy in his room, and then some aliens came out of the wall, and he ran down the street, and a big 18-wheeler like ran over the aliens, but the main character was able to dodge it at the last second. It was very basic. It was very like heavy metal, like Mobius, nonsensical or whatever. So then at some point, after I kind of was bumming around, like trying to find a script that I wanted to work on, and I couldn't find anything that was for some reason pulled me in. And at the same time, I had been going to comic shops, and I couldn't really find anything that I was kind of attracted to, really, like in terms of the art. So I just decided, why don't I just like do my own thing, because I have an idea of what I want to see. Like I want to see something that's more of a traditional type of comic where there's a lot of brush was used, and I was thinking like older EC comics, older horror comics, some heavy metal kind of influence there, like European heavy metal comics was there.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted something that was more old school, hand lettering, ink and brush, something like that, more old school, not so much like Photoshop, and because that's a lot of comics, it's just everything is like Photoshop and digital. I want to see the artist's hand. I miss that.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking for, and it was hard. There was some things that I didn't want to do. Like, look at those. You see those buildings there, like in the radiator. I did that with like a brush.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I was a maniac, but I did it. Why? Because I wanted to learn how to handle a brush, and so that's why I did. I really wanted to,
Yeah.
accelerate that. So that's why I did it that way. I could have used a pen and stuff, but I was like, no, I want to make it hard. I want to use a brush. Yeah,
Wow,
why
that's
not?
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
Next time, I would never realize that was a brush.
Right. Yeah, I know. And looking at it now, I'm like, you know what? It's so tight. Why didn't I just use a pen? But then I have to remind.
Oh,
lost you again.
Yeah, it's because I wanted, to make it hard. So, but I won't do that again. Yeah, I won't do that again. Like if I want to, I did it for that time, but
It's a good one-time try.
I did it. All right, whatever. Let's just use a pen. Yeah, yeah. So and again, it was really just I wanted to do something that was very like also influenced.
Oh, Jorge, you're cutting in and out a little bit right now.
French Connection, EC Comics.
Hey, you're cutting in and out right now.
Okay.
So we did that here pretty much the past like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the last thing you heard me say?
I wanted to do
yeah.
So going way back to like I wanted to do it.
Okay,
for the first time.
I
yeah.
Right. I wanted to do something that was again, it was a mix of my love of cinema, like action movies like Die Hard and French Connection and police, Jackie Chan Police Story, like something like really hard and gritty.
Yeah.
And mix that with like, old school EC Comics, and you put them together, and that's what Wall Breakers ended up being. It was just a hybrid of those things.
Was there any like horror film inspirations? Because like I took a lot of like I thought this was inspired by Aliens, like just because like literally
the creatures, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the creatures, like they're coming out of walls. I thought that was his stomach the first time. Like, oh, he's dead, and like, oh wait, never mind, that's actually a wall.
Right.
Which I'm like, why is it called Wall Breakers? I'm like, oh, I understand now.
Right. You know what? It's the design of those creatures. Like I didn't intend it, but I can see the alien. I guess it's similar looking, right? To those face
similar. Yeah,
things.
Sort of.
Right. Sort of. But you know what? It just. I don't know. That's just kind of what came out of my head. I didn't really intend it that way. I know that the original version of those creatures in the original comic that was years ago, that was only 6 pages, it looked much more like a Komodo dragon. It was much more reptilian in its appearance. And then I ended up kind of making it like, well, I want to make it more kind of insect, kind of gross looking. So that's kind of what I did. But in terms of horror inspiration, I would say Evil Dead 2. That's the movie that I really, I love Evil Dead 2. I love that Sam Raimi, like over the top, crazy thing.
I could see that.
Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now?
Yeah, that's right. Right. The Who's Laughing Now. It's just, I got to tell you that when I saw that movie, because I didn't, when I was younger, I didn't know about Sam Raimi, but when we're talking, before that first Spider-Man movie, and I was reading Wizard magazine, and they were like, "Oh, there's some movies coming out." I said, "Oh, I gotta see this movie." And then they said, "Oh, Sam Raimi's gonna do it." Who's Sam Raimi? And then I go look up his movies, and I saw Evil Dead 1. I was like, "Oh, this movie sucks." And then I went to go see like Evil Dead 2. I was like, "Oh my god, this movie's amazing!" Like I came to the next day. I was like, I gave that VHS tape, like, guys, you have to see this movie's insane. You gotta see this movie. I love that movie. Army of Darkness, like 50% of that, like half of that movie I liked. The other half I was like, this is too much jokes. Like it's too much.
Did you ever see the TV series?
Yes, and I liked the first episode. Just the first one, because that's the one that Sam Raimi did. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh god, it was like, I'm thinking like, Sam, why can't you just make another movie? Just make one more. Just like
he actually did another horror film that was kind of similar to that. Drag Me to Hell. Drag
Yeah,
Me to Hell.
I saw that one. I saw that one. I mean, yes, I don't know. There's something about that movie that it was like, I don't know. It didn't really land for me for some reason. It was kind of like, I don't know. Because the thing about Sam is that he gets too far into that Stooges thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I like it, but sometimes like you just go too far with the Three Stooges thing. It's like, all right, I get it. You know, you like the slapstick. But anyway, so yeah, that was the kind of like I thought about everything that all these inspirations like Evil Dead 2 and you know like a crazy Jackie Chan like ridiculous over the top action, car chases like French Connection or
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
yeah just something you know Die Hard, Die Hard 3 with a vengeance. Yeah,
right.
just like hard, fast, and brutal. Like that's what I wanted. Yeah.
He's
So
doing
you
the
can
next
see.
Doctor Strange. That's his next film he's
Is
directing.
he still on that project? Is he still on that?
Let me see.
I hope he is because I've been hearing like that he's on, he's off. I don't know. But
according to the Wikipedia, he's still on.
Okay, then I will be watching that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
He did the Don't Breathe film, which people really liked. I never saw that though.
I didn't.
He produced
see it.
that one.
Okay. So, but like you look at this particular panel, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it's like, well, I just wanted it to be like very dynamic, you know, different angles and stuff like that.
It is. He's popping off the panels and
right.
He's jumping out of the third floor of a building.
Also, I like about this page is the way you did the squares. They weren't the classic just square here, square 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
You kind of like it changed and reflected the story as well.
Yeah, if you notice, like I learned also in this book is that you can help the reader like read the panel. Sometimes if you just push the drawings in a certain direction, if you just kind of use the perspective or you do your hatching in the direction of where you want the next panel. So if you see those creatures like flying out of the window, I position it in such a way like left to right, so it's moving into the next panel. So you know, it's these little things that make your eye kind of move along.
Oh, that's
in
cool.
a smooth way. Yeah.
Also, his knees overlaps that frame right next to it, so you see the knee
right,
and it goes right into that one. So that's really well done.
It's little subtle things like that. You pick up on that, you know, because if you notice, a lot of like younger artists, they tend to use a lot of like what they call, I don't know if you're familiar with that term, Dutch angle, where they're tilting things, and that's a common thing I noticed. Like they use it, and I understand the intention because I did that too, to try to make it look dynamic. Like you know, they think if you tilt it, it makes it dynamic, but sometimes like it's not necessary. You know, you do it. As a matter of fact, I don't think I ever really use, maybe sometimes, but you because you don't want to do it because it's like you, at least this is my, you know, we're talking my theory of comic storytelling. Everything you do has to have a purpose because you don't have a lot of space per page.
It is definitely breaking the rule, the Dutch angle. It's not supposed to happen.
Right, but it's like and I kind of take a comic book art as like it's like a game where I take it kind of like a martial arts mindset where you don't want to use, you know, 20 punches when you could use one. You got to be very economical because you don't have a lot of room per page.
Right.
And you have to consider dialogue, you have to consider, you know, how many pages you have to tell a story. So you have to use things, you know, like the perspective to lead the eye, or maybe simplify something, or you know, you have to play with it. You know, maybe you could use you know, a word balloons to cover most of the background because you know, so that's why when you know how like people draw like comics without the word balloons and then digitally they put it in.
Yeah, you're wasting time. Yeah,
you're wasting time because it's like you're not gonna see it anyway. So that's why to me it's like, no, letter it first and then now you know what you're dealing with. So anyway, but that's kind
cool. I mean, like that's smart. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're doing like I had to do everything, so you just realize like you know what I mean. You gotta know where to put your priorities.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the same thing like with the car. That's a car. I wanted a specific car, and that was a pain in the ass to draw every, the inside, the outside, the back, everything.
Every time, yeah.
Yeah, and it was crazy, man. But it was like it was just I really dug myself into a hole, and I was like, well, I mean, you just gotta finish it, and I had to. So and even if you see here, this page right here, this was the last originally before I met the publisher Drew from Snowyworks.
Oh,
This was the original ending to that story. Just this one panel right here, not even the bottom one, just the top one. That was the original ending. But then he said, "No, I want to have 2 extra pages, because that's the number is like a complete book." I said, "Okay." So I added the bottom panel that you see underneath there.
Yeah.
That was additional, and then the following two, the next two, those are new. So if you look at those pages, it's much more cleaner, like more design heavy. It's much more like just you notice it's more like this. My mind had changed. It's more simple, kind of cleaner. It's a little bit. You notice that it's a more design.
Yeah, I do.
Heavy.
I see.
It's also
sort of like
you'd
see like a commercial designer. Yeah,
it's cleaner. It's not as like busy in a way. It's so even the shine of the car, it's leading the eye and things like that. So but you can tell like I changed a little bit.
I like that though. It actually, because I ended up rereading these 2 pages for some reason. But like I thought it was like a nice tag. Like it almost was like a separate little story.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil it for people, but that makes sense, to the story.
So but you can see it was like there was a lot of it's interesting. It went through a lot, this book. A lot of I ended up kind of finding how to make it work in the end there. But
it makes sense that you're from New York, because this page specifically with all these people,
it's busy.
It's just how New York is, right? I mean, like, you have people like really
all
far in the background. I mean, that's so cool, and you rarely see that in comics. Where it's just like so many people.
Yeah, it was just that's actually kind of the fun part, just like trying to.
We lost you again, Jorge.
Different kinds of people.
Yeah, we lost you again.
And
that's actually kind of the fun part is when you. Yeah, you're back.
Oh. You said like that was kind of the fun part, and now I think we lost you again.
Yeah, I think we lost you again.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear you guys.
Oh, okay.
And now we can hear you too. So I don't know what's happening.
Okay. All right. So yeah. No. That...
and we lost you. We need it.
That was the fun part. Just looking for different people.
Or hey, we can't see you, or we can't hear you right now.
So yeah. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Now we can. Yeah.
And now we can't. No, wait, no, we can hear you.
Yeah, no. We're good?
We're good.
Okay. So are you writers? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Are you guys writers?
Much more so than cartoonists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Month of December, we did a competition to draw something.
Yes.
And like the final thing was to like a fake Batman comic, a fake Batman page.
Right.
I could not get his head to not look like a pumpkin. Like I just couldn't do
it. Yeah. Well, let me ask. Are you guys like? I'm assuming you guys watch films.
Oh yeah, all the time.
So
what are those?
What are those? those are
Eric.
Those are, right.
Be
those
nice
are
to
movies.
the guest.
Yeah, those are movies. No. And I love to talk about movies. I always do, like whenever I get on the podcast, because, and I know you guys are writers, so I'm sure you look at films for inspiration things like that. But let me ask, can you tell me of the most recent film that you thought was a really good? And I'll ask. I guess I'll ask Keegan first, and then I'll go to Eric. Um,
The most recent film that I thought was really good is
if you
that
can name one that you saw.
Palm Springs. I just rewatched
Yeah, that you
that.
thought was really well made.
Yeah, Palm Springs.
Springs.
It's on Hulu. It's got Andy Samberg, which usually would make it bad, but it's
Okay.
it blew me away. It's like a time loop movie, like Groundhog's Day,
Uh-huh.
but they assume that you've already seen
Okay.
Groundhog's Day and lots of time loop movies.
Right.
So it jumps you right in,
Okay.
and then from there they like build. I mean, it's kind of meta, to be honest, but it was really, really well done.
Okay.
He's stuck in a time loop. He's been stuck in a time loop forever,
Uh-huh.
and then he accidentally gets this girl stuck in the time loop with him. You know,
Okay.
so it's sort of a
Right.
rom-com, and it's sort
Right.
of like, and then he accidentally got this other guy stuck in a time loop, and that guy sometimes shows up to kill him. Which is, I mean, they really played with the genre like a lot,
Right.
and it ended up really well done. It's really well
Okay.
done. I just rewatched it because it was
I'm gonna look it up then. Palm Springs.
Palm Springs. Yeah.
You
Okay.
just took my answer, so I have to figure out what the last film like.
Yeah. What is it?
You saw Palm Springs?
I saw Palm Springs. That was mine. Actually.
Did you like it? Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. What did I
Okay.
just watch on Hulu? There was another one with that serial killer. Did you see that one? Do you know
The
what I
serial killer.
mean? Do you know what I mean?
You're gonna need.
It's a
more
new
than
one.
that.
They're so like you. It's like let me watch a movie about a serial killer.
No, it's like a social media.
Okay.
What's that one called? This is.
I'm like looking for like movies that are like talk about like the beauty of life. Like hey, did you see that movie about the mass murder and remember when he had that head in the freezer? Wasn't that scene amazing? I know, right? It looks so real. It's like what the
hold on, I'll find
okay.
it.
He's looking it up.
Yeah.
But no, but even though like I mean, I'm kind of putting my own foot in my mouth because the last movie that I and I've said this over because I haven't really. There's not a film that I remember last that I thought was really engaging. Engaging was the last one that I saw was back when the theaters were open. Was I went to see Joker, the DC thing and
Yeah.
and that
I
one
did
was,
not like that film.
You didn't like it, okay?
I
So
thought
let me,
so I thought Joaquin Phoenix did fantastic in the character. I thought it was acted very well, but I spent the
Okay.
entire time like, don't care about the guy. If he whatever, don't care. Nope, still don't care.
And Keegan, did you feel the same?
I dislike that movie a lot. Yeah.
Why? Why?
wait. I want to hear why you liked it
Oh, okay.
before I go into it.
Okay. So no, first of all, I think that movie is. I know it says Joker, but it's not really.
The
Joker.
following is.
I mean, it's not really about the Joker. They use the word. They use the terms like Gotham City and Wayne and all these kinds of things, but it's really not. It's like it's sort of like the commercial. Like a superficial commercial skin
I think
covering a movie just about a guy about mental illness. Like that's really what it is. It's not really a Joker movie, but I think that the movie the writing, I don't think there's a wasted scene is great. The story is engaging.
Oh, sorry, you're cutting in and out again.
You're cutting in and out again.
It's
I'm
really
not sure
minimal.
why.
The writing is really minimal. I'm cutting out. Okay. I don't know if I'm here, but
yeah, we're getting you like it'll pause for 3 seconds and then speed up again. Yeah, sorry.
If you've ever seen Wayne's World, You're ordering from the drive-through, and that it's what we're hearing. We're going. I would like a and up and up. That's what we're getting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
So, what's the last thing you heard me say?
Why don't you
What's the
just
last thing you heard me say?
talk about it again?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. The Joker is you said it was like
Okay. I mean,
you started
just
with
let me know if I'm coming in.
It's the writing, right?
Yeah. We're not hearing you at all.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now
Now
we
we
are.
can hear
Yeah.
All right. How about? Okay. So I don't know. Yeah, my.
Oh.
Nope.
No. Am I going?
It's like back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And like, where's the best? So, you got it. No.
No.
Kind of. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Kind of.
Okay. Let me see. How about? Am I better now?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Now you're good.
Not. Okay. All right. Let me know. Just let me know.
I can hear you now. I can hear you right now.
I can hear you now.
Okay. So let me hurry up and say what I need to say before. So no, I thought the script was good. I thought the script was tight, and there wasn't a wasted scene. And Joaquin's performance was really good. He did a unique Joker, which I knew he would. You know, a lot of people were like Ledger was great, and he was. But Joaquin, I saw him in the movie like The Master and Walk the Line, and I saw him in Her, and he's just such a great actor. So the movie to me, the movie was great, but it disturbed me. Like it did disturb me, and I was shocked that DC. The reason it shocked me was because I didn't think that DC would go that far. That's kind of what shocked me. I didn't really think they would go that far with that, just the violence. I didn't think they would allow that.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I also was that shocked me, but also sitting in the audience and watching. See, the movie to me, it was a mirror. It was a reflection of whoever it is that watches the movie. So there were people that were in the audience, which shocked me, that were actually like kind of reveling in the violence, and they were kind of enjoying watching the violence, and that kind of shocked me. And also, people were coming up to me trying to like justify, like, oh, you know, it was you know, it was good that he killed those people. I was like,
Oh man.
yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's
man.
right. So that's what it was, like kind of this weird thing, like you know, the kind of like there's something within some people that is just like evil, and that thing just brought it out, you know. And that's kind of what disturbed me about it. But I think the movie depressing, but I think it's a modern classic. I really think it's a modern classic. But anyway, so that's it.
This is the movie I was talking about. Spree.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Spree. Okay, this is the crazy person. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's about this guy who it's kind of like American Psycho, basically. Have you seen that movie, American Psycho?
With Christian Bale?
Yeah, with Christian Bale. This is like the new version of it. I thought it was really well done, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. But he like drives for a ride sharing service, and he picks people up and kills them. But he's doing it as a live stream, you know, to like get followers.
Wow.
And then it involves this Sashir Zamata.
Mm-hmm.
she plays a comedian in it, and he like becomes obsessed with her. So it's like a little bit like Taxi Driver as well,
Yeah.
which is really interesting, because this is
Right.
like Uber driver. So,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie was really cool, and like
I'll check it out.
It was pretty
Yeah.
fresh. Yeah.
Okay. So who was it that's tell me, Eric, or was it you that was gonna tell me like why you didn't like it, or was it
So I didn't like
both of you hated it?
Let Eric do it.
Okay.
So I didn't like it because like you spend the entire time. It reminded me of B Movie. If you've ever seen that film by the animated Jerry Seinfeld film, and I spent the entire time waiting for the film to happen. And by the time the film happened, I'm like, oh, that's it.
Right.
I don't care anymore. And so it was very much like a slice of life like movie, but I'm like, I don't care.
Right.
Like, yeah, he's violent, and yeah, his life kind of sucks. But at some point, I'm like, I'm supposed to be interested in what happens to you, and I never was. Like the reason, like if I wasn't a captive audience, like, all right, Eric, you've spent the $10, you're stuck here. I'm like, yeah, nope, pause, I'm done. Time to go watch something else. So,
okay.
If you've ever seen what's it called? There Will Be Blood. Like,
yeah,
the characters were very much reminiscent of each other, but I loved There Will Be Blood because I was drawn in. I wanted to know what happened to this guy. I wanted to see if he was able to create his empire, if he really was going to be as evil as he was, and he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this is a compelling film. I'm glad I can see. I'm glad where this is going. Whereas Joker, I'm like, I don't care.
So, but let me ask, because you brought up There Will Be Blood, because There Will Be Blood is a movie that's like, I can see that. I think it was done by Paul Thomas Anderson. I think he did that one.
Yeah.
And that movie, like a lot of his films, are expertly made, wonderfully shot, wonderfully written, wonderfully acted, and yet I don't really feel the need to revisit those films. And I watched that film thinking wonderful performances, but I wasn't drawn in really. Kind of like maybe how you were with Joker, I was that way with There Will Be Blood. Even though I recognize that it was masterfully made, yes, I can see that, but I just don't. I've seen it maybe once, and I didn't really, I didn't get it. But
I see films like there's two different types, or there's a couple different types of films, but there's two major types of films. Like there's films that like I want to go back to and rewatch because I love it. My favorite film in the world is a film called Ink, which no one besides me's ever watched.
I never heard of that.
Yeah,
it's on HBO now.
Okay,
it is on HBO. It is on HBO.
Okay.
Isn't it? Oh, is
it's
it
on
not?
Amazon.
Oh, it's on Amazon. Okay.
Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And like I'll go back to that. I'll watch that at least once per year, probably more, honestly, because I think it's really, really good. Whereas you have films like There Will Be Blood, that one film with like Javier Bardem and
No Country.
No Country for Old Men. Yeah, I was just thinking of that.
That's a film I'll rewatch.
Oh wow.
Coen Brothers.
Mother is the film I'm thinking of.
Oh.
Okay.
Which I don't ever want to watch again. I mean, it was a good film, but that was kind of intense. That didn't really do it. There's the film Room, which is I don't ever want to watch again. Like that was intense.
Right.
Very well acted, but I don't want to see that again.
Right.
Like whereas The Room, I would love to watch it in the theater, but thanks COVID.
Right. Yeah, so, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So like has absolutely to do like so like. Because the films are well acted, they're well done. He's just like, all right, that's kind of intense. I don't need to see that again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And it's also like I don't think I'm gonna get more out of watching that film again than I will do that. Ex Machina, I thought it was a fantastic film. Drew me in. I kind of can see it. That I've seen it the one time. I think that's good.
I pretty much agree with your take on Joker, but that is why I don't like it. I guess this is what I'm trying to say. I just like I found that I saw all that stuff that you explained, but like that's why I thought it was like just disturbing and not good.
Did you expect it to be like, what is it that you expect? Because I had no expectations at all. I didn't know what to expect at all.
It took me a long time to get to see it, so I think I already kind of had heard about parts of it. Like I hadn't heard what was in it, but like that's basically what I expected. It was like just kind of just dark the whole time, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
And I think Joaquin Phoenix is a genius. Like he's a really, really good actor.
Yeah.
In everything he does. And like I didn't mind. I thought the movie was very solid as a film. You know, just like you were saying. Like it's a really well done film.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, you know? and maybe that was like the point. It was like, you're not supposed to like this, you know? And I think it's art, you know? You know what I mean? Like that's fine. Like it made me not like it, that's you know. But
I mean, to be honest, there was little things in it that, like I hear people talking about it like it has replay value. Like people were saying, well, is this even real? Like, did this even happen, or is it a dream? But at least when I was sitting in the audience, when they were implying the possibility that Bruce Wayne was like a stepbrother, I remember sitting in the audience thinking, ooh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, like I'm thinking, okay, are we going there? Okay, whoa, that's kind of that's kind of crazy, right? So that was kind of exciting, but then they kind of like, nah, it's like okay, I mean,
that was good.
Yeah, that was kind of like, and I remember sitting in the audience and you hear people going, ooh, like, you know, because something's kind of whoa, like, that's something new.
That could have been
anyway. Right.
Did you remember, Keegan? Do you remember the film I'm Still Here? It was mockumentary starring Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I remember.
We saw it at my place. You were the only, you loved that film, and I spent the entire time hating that. So I'm like, can we go now?
So that was the performance artist in me that was like,
the one like where like he grew out his beard for a year. He's like, I retired from acting to become a rapper.
He's a rapper. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you when he was doing that, when he was going on talk shows, did you believe that he was really retiring, or you were like, no, this guy's
no, I thought it was an
act. I did
act.
not believe he was retiring.
Okay, all right. You didn't buy it at all. Not at one time. Like when he was on Letterman and he was acting weird and stuff, like you're like,
right, he was that was his performance. See, people like hated Andy Kaufman for the same stuff,
right?
You know?
Yeah. I mean, but Kaufman was, you know, I don't know if he was the first guy to really do that, but I don't know. He was. It was fun watching the YouTube now, seeing him like, you know, with Jerry Lawler. Like it's really funny how he really like. And now we know Lawler was in on it, but at that time they really made it look like, wow, Lawler really hates Andy, like for real. Like they're gonna fight. He slapped him right in the face, and then he throws like the water, you know, on Lawler. It's like, oh my god, these guys are for real.
Right.
That's like a lot of fun actually watching it.
I mean, to this day, my people I talk to like hate him for wrestling women, even though that was like the whole point.
Right.
Is like you're supposed to hate him. Like,
right. So he understood like, okay, I'm gonna be the heel. I'm gonna be the wrestling heel.
Yeah. But
right?
it was like that extra step of like of thinking that people don't get to sometimes,
right?
You know? Like they don't get that it's like he's actually making fun of himself. They just I
think that's kind of what's missing in wrestling. You know, I used to watch wrestling like back in the 90s, and I always knew that the matches were predetermined.
Yeah.
But the thing that I liked was that the characters, they really pretended, at least they tried to keep that character 24/7. There was no social media, so it's like now it's like you have, okay, this guy's the heel and this guy's the face, and then you go on like Instagram and they're like having lunch together. It's like you just, I mean, like you're supposed to be a horrible heel, like, and I hear stories about like, you know, back when Jericho was a heel and kids would be like, oh, can I get your autograph? He's like, no, and then he just walk away. And he'll make the kid cry, but because he's like, he's
the bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, that's how you make the money. Like they gotta hate you.
Right.
24/7. So I kind of miss that.
Yeah.
I missed that.
I mean, some of them kept in, like, the Undertaker never dropped character. In the original ECW, the Sandman, when he was supposedly blind in one eye, literally refused to go out because
right.
he didn't want people to recognize him, and realize he's not blind in
That
one
he's not
eye.
blind, right?
What was it? I mean, certain things are still very much in vogue. I mean, in Lucha Libre, you never take off your mask.
Right.
So, like, my favorite, or like two of my favorite wrestlers, Ray Phoenix and El Pentagon Jr. Like, it's like, it's kind of funny because, like, they'll talk to people, but they never take off their mask. It's kind of funny to watch.
Oh man. But yeah, yeah, that's kind of like, again, there's so many, man, I'm just like thinking back I feel like social media, it's like once you take that cat out of the hat, or the rabbit out of the hat, once you pull that out, it's like you kind of took away any kind of mystery, and it's like everything's so overexposed that it's like, I mean, I can't watch it. Like, I know there are people that I know that watch wrestling. Like, dude, I just can't. I really can't, because it's like I came from the Attitude Era. I mean, we had Stone Cold like beating up his boss. We got Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist. He kept talking about it like, I'm an Olympic gold medalist. I'm an Olympic gold medalist. It's like, okay, people hated him and they would chant, "You suck," but it's not because he sucked. It's, we know you're good, and that's like the audience way of saying we love you is by saying you suck. Like, that's
yeah.
So that's what they did, and it was great. It was like a big party. So anyway, but I really missed that.
My current favorite day wrestler is a wrestler called MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yeah.
You have to know nothing about him. If you ever watched the Chris Van Vliet MJF interview, he never drops character the entire time.
Okay.
And so literally at one point, he literally's like, "This is pointless," and he goes out and he orders food for himself. He's like, "You can keep on going, whatever you're gonna say, I don't care." And it's just the most funny thing to watch in the world. And at one point, he's like, "Open up your mouth. We might as well use that thing for something." And he's like trying to feed him.
See, if he's sticking to the character, I respect that.
Oh no, he sticks to his character 100%. He's notorious for that, because he's like literally at one point he's like, a kid I went to is like 9 years old. Can I have a kid? He's like, "You got $25?"
Right. Yeah.
He was on camera saying that, and he's like, "No." He's like, "Then no, I don't. You don't get my autograph, kid. Get some money."
Right. But I like that. It's like, dude, that's what you got to do, man. Yes, that's like that's how it is. So, but we just went like all over like for wrestling. But
so let's reel it back in.
Yeah, reel it back. Yeah, go ahead.
How can people find your comic?
Okay, so you guys, if anybody wants to check out Wall Breakers, luckily it's you can go to snowyworks.com. That's the publisher, so you can find Wall Breakers. All the links to where you can get Wall Breakers is there on that website, along with other books by the publisher. And you can find it on Google Play, Drive-Thru Comics, Thinwiz Comics, I think
Comixology.
Comixology. So you can check it out virtually in most digital platforms. So it's out there. It's been out there for a while. I got a lot of good feedback, a lot of great reviews, and
we really liked it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah. And in terms of, I'm kind of working on something now. And I'm hoping to have it done a lot sooner, because Wall Breakers, it was a long project, and I kind of went really like long to make it. Yeah. So the next book, it's tailored to maintain quality, but kind of have a faster turnaround. So it's going to have a kind of a cleaner style, a bolder style. I'm looking at a lot of Golden Age comics now, because it's going to be kind of a more, not an homage, but kind of a love letter to American superhero comics, at least my take on it. Nice. And so, that's kind of what I'm looking at. So it's a little bit more of like a morality tale there in a way. So But that's kind of what I'm working on right now. I don't know if I'm gonna get this thing done because I want the whole thing like from beginning to end, including colors. So it's a complete thing.
Oh wow! Are you doing everything? You did
Yes,
the
yeah,
lettering
everything.
and
Yes, yeah.
do you do pencils or do you go?
Yes,
Yeah.
just like wall breakers. It's all me. So that's why I'm kind of making adjustments. Like, okay, how can I do this but turn it around like at a decent time. So
do you do anything digitally?
No, I just scan it.
Oh.
And yeah, and the occasional cleanup basically, and adjusting contrast. But if I color this book, then most likely, yeah, because that's just faster.
Yeah.
So I might do the digital coloring, but everything is done by hand. Everything is old school, hand lettering, everything. That's kind of the way I do it. Yeah.
It looks amazing,
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. So, thank you.
Do you draw at a larger size than like standard comic book size?
I use the traditional originals Bristol, like 11x17 artboards. And, and then we scan them.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was just wondering. Everyone has like their own process, and it's fun to find out like what you do.
I might I think for this book I'm going to keep it 11x17, but I'm thinking maybe even go a little bit larger, just because you can kind of relax a little bit more, because when you reduce it you retain a certain tightness, so you don't have to be so like careful with your inking. You can relax a little bit and it'll tighten up. Yeah, you can kind of let that let it flow. If you make some errors, you don't really notice it when it's reduced because it's so big.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see. But I just want to make it faster and a faster turnaround, but retaining the quality. So
get it out there.
Yeah. I have to, because in the digital, I noticed in the digital space, it's like everything has to be fast. So I have to find a way to make it fast.
It's so interesting. Do you want the control of everything, or like again, it's like your Spider-Man versus X-Men thing, right?
Yeah.
Have you worked with teams before and it like doesn't work very well?
I have. I've worked with writers before, but it's hard for me to work with people just because I have such a I notice I have such a clear vision of what I want, and it's so specific. It's like, and it's hard, obviously, we all think differently. Maybe I'll find some similar tastes, but I like to have control. I like the lettering to be hand lettered. If I could find somebody that does, it's hard to find somebody that does hand lettering.
Yeah.
Or even inking. A lot of people, everything is digital.
Everything's
so
digital.
So that's why it's like I do it myself, because it's like, well, I want to see the brush, I want to see the hand. That's just my style. I like that. I'm old school. So but yeah, so that's about it. But yeah, and so that I'm just like that, So that's why I do everything myself. And I remember Joe Kubert was a big inspiration for me growing up, and I remember he would do everything himself. He would letter, he would color.
Everyone did everything,
right?
In the day,
right.
Yeah,
right. So
I mean, it's not so unusual for cartoonists or people doing autobiographical works,
Right. Right.
I guess not action comics. I guess what I mean?
Right.
This is more of an action comic.
Yeah. But hopefully the new thing is, it's gonna be. I'm still going through the designs. Oh, by the way, real quick.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to check out whatever I'm up to, you could see my Instagram, Simpler Bolder. So just simpler and then bolder, but not like a rock, but text, like Bolder, like BOLDER.
Okay.
Simpler Bolder.
Simpler Bolder. Okay.
Yeah, you go to Instagram, you can see my drawings and my sketches and what I'm up to, and it's all there. So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. That's good to know.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us. Jorge.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. It was a lot of fun. I just love that I met two guys that did not like the Joker.
I don't think we're that rare. I mean, you don't have to like Joker.
For
the
comic book
first-
guys, right? Like
to be honest, yeah, you're the first like two guys that I actually thought that said to me that I heard,
yeah,
I didn't like the movie.
interesting.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
amazing.
I respect the performance of Joaquin Phoenix. Even Robert De Niro, I thought gave a great performance.
Yeah.
Even for all 2 minutes he was on, I'm just like, no.
2 minutes.
Well, I mean, he was on for literally like
It was
not that long.
not that long.
Right. Yeah. No, it was cool. It was
And
cool.
even he gave like a very like strong performance. I don't know.
I think
also
most
not a big
people
fan-
who would have not liked the movie didn't see the movie.
That's true too. I mean, also being the two is like I'm also not a big fan of the director though too. So
okay.
I don't think he produces good stuff. And Todd Phillips, yeah.
Right.
Like what was it? War Dogs? No.
No.
Hangover Part 2 and Part 3. You mean
There's a Part 3?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Due Date, also not good. I mean,
Due Date was really bad.
yeah. The Hangover was like he's literally had like 2 good films I can think of, maybe 3.
Right.
He had The Hangover, Road Trip, and Old School. I liked all 3 of those. But everything else like starts getting much.
Okay, we're trying to say goodbye. Let's get to the end, Eric.
All right.
With
Not
respect
good
to Todd
director.
Phillips. Okay. Jorge, you've been a great guest. Thanks for coming on. Find him at Simpler Boulder on Instagram. You can find Wall Breakers on all the places that you mentioned. Thank you so much for coming on our show. We appreciate it.
Thank you
for being
guys.
here.
A lot of fun. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Before you go, can you turn your camera back on?
Yeah. That's
for
it.
the podcast.
Okay. Hopefully my it doesn't explode, but let's do it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I'm
Jordan,
here.
I like to do it for the podcast.
Right.
Like the little thumbnail. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. Yeah,
Well, nice
guys,
to
I
meet you.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
it was
much.
a lot of fun, man. I had a lot of fun. It's a blast.
Yeah, we did too. Hopefully, come back when your new comic comes out.
Yeah.
Yes, I will do that. But hopefully, guys, I'm gonna try to make it like super fast. I'm really trying.
Good,
So
good.
let's see if we can do it. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay.
We can
Thanks.
talk about how much I dislike the Joker again.
I would love to hear it for sure. All right.
All right. Bye.
All right. Take care, guys. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Am I off?
No, not yet. Yeah, I can remove you.
Okay.
No, wait, hold on. Before you go, don't go just yet.
Oh yeah, don't go.
Is there anything that you don't want us to include in there?
No, man. You just put everything up there.
Okay, I just want to make sure if you're also just like, wait, I'm sorry, we can't. include the Joker.
I'm gonna tell you. Don't talk about how much you hate the Joker. Don't put that up there. Do not put that up there.
Don't put that out there, Eric. Yeah.
Right. And
That's
I don't
embarrassing
hear
for us.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear your opinions about Spider-Man or X-Men. It's like the whole thing is about what I say. Okay, I don't want to hear any of your opinions. Just leave what I say. That's it. I don't want to.
Okay. Hey, would you mind introducing our podcast really fast?
Yeah, sure.
So I can
Let's
just
do it.
edit that in at the top.
Okay, sure.
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Okay,
you're good.
all right.
You're good.
I don't know, man. I'm just doing. I'm thinking you're. Yeah, it's like whatever. It's all good. But yeah, guys, it was a lot of fun, man. So what time is it over there? Are you guys live in the same area?
I'm in Boston. He's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
We both grew up in the Chicagoland area. I live in Chicago now, or
Right.
currently.
Okay.
He lives in Boston.
Yeah.
Okay. So we all have the same time, right? Like 10:30.
I have 9:30.
Yeah, he's at
Oh.
9:30.
Oh, that's right. Okay. All right. But yeah, man. So, I mean, you guys have anything like written out? Like, you guys any stuff out? Like any kind of comics work or anything like that? Like, check out.
That's part of the point of the podcast. Is like
Okay.
we're making comics right now.
Right.
I worked with this artist in Argentina
Yeah.
on my first like long book, and
Uh-huh.
it's all drawn and it's all flatted now, but there's
Right.
no color or lettering yet, and it's
Okay.
been a really long.
It's been a
process,
while,
right?
yeah.
And like I think he picked up like 6 other projects.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
like now I'm kind of dead in the water.
I feel you. I know.
Yeah.
It's the indie thing. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that's another reason why I do everything myself, because if I'm waiting around for people, it's like it's gonna take even longer. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why it's like you know, if I'm looking for like a letter, you know, you'll do like half of the book. Oh, I'm getting paid for something. I'll get back to you when I get back to you. It'll never get done.
The other thing I'm working on are these like 2-page comics called Death Maze comics.
Okay.
Where like the hero enters the death maze and then dies on page 2. Like gets like
Okay.
and it's like run by these 2 henchmen, and they and so that and that has also been like for the podcast where like I hired 3 different artists, and like we talk about the differences between each one, or I hire 3 different inkists, you know, or I try and color it myself, and you know. So so that's kind of our project. Eric's still writing. He's got like a first draft of his first book done.
Mm-hmm. It needs to get improved upon greatly though before
we found an artist for it. Yeah. So we're kind of like, that's where we're at.
Yeah, I know it's really tough, like, you know, doing everything kind of like homebrew and stuff like that. So, but I am really impressed, like, you know, thanks to Drew, you know, he kind of introduced me to the whole indie comic scene, and it's like really amazing how there's so many people like working on their projects, and it's actually kind of, it's cool actually, because, you know, I'm not like a mainstream, like I'm not a DC or Marvel guy, but then again, like I don't think I would ever do that, just because like once I got a taste of doing everything myself, like I don't see myself, you know, sticking to like notes from an editor from a company, and, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. I can't do that. It's like I have the freedom to do what I want.
It was good. I mean, your comic had a lot of really cool details that you would never see if you were working with somebody else, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's, but yeah, I think you guys should just, you know, keep at it. But if you could, I'd love to see, any kind of written material, because I always like to look at other people's stuff and just, you know, and check it out for myself. So,
cool.
If you have like a link or something, or
if you go to our webpage, dumbcomiccreators.com,
okay,
you can see Keegan's shorts.
Oh, those are the like first 2 are terrible, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see a couple of them.
Okay, so so I'm on the site. So where? Okay, I see Death Maze number 2 and Death Maze. Okay, I see.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna check those out. All right, awesome, man. Yeah, I like this site. Okay. Oh, this is like, you got a lot of stuff on here. Wow, look at this.
I gotta update this again, but yeah.
Wow, you got reviews. You got, wow. Okay. Yeah, this is cool, man. Yeah.
Also, just for you know, it's kind of just our form that we will review your comic in next week's issue, or not issue, podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because so we always like try to review.
So you get like on the podcast twice, and
right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's awesome. But I'm gonna check out your site tonight, and I'm gonna check out some Death Maze right now. So
and these were the first 2 I wrote. So like I feel like they get a little better, but probably they don't. They're just stupid. So enjoy. I hope you enjoy.
Are you gonna you thinking about like compiling them at some point? Like,
so the third plan of making these death mazes was to like add it as a Kickstarter bonus,
right,
if I ever get that other comic done,
right. Okay.
Which is not looking like it will happen anytime soon. I'm about to be like a parent.
Okay, like, right. Oh yeah,
the baby is expected in the next month, so
amazing. Wow, that's so amazing, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
So a lot of things are falling off my plate right
tell
now.
me about it.
yeah
Tell me about it. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, it'll work out, man. Don't worry about it. You're heading into like an amazing place in your life, so you'll find time, you know.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So, but all right, guys. So listen, man, I really appreciate it. I'll check your guys' website out, and yeah, thanks again, man. Hopefully I can come back on here and we'll talk some more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. So take care.
Even if we just need to
Thanks.
talk for an hour.
Yes.
That was fun.
Yes. I
That was
know. I
fun.
know. I want to hear more of your like movies that you hate.
All right,
All
sounds
right.
good. Have a good
Okay.
night.
All right. Good night, guys. Take care.
All
Yeah.
right, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so what do you want to do, like for the second half?
Uh, well, we're still on our stream,
Yeah,
and honestly, that was incredibly long.
you just want to do just that for now, then?
That was like an hour and a half. So,
Yeah, we probably just do that. Just do a special.
do you have a comic that you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could get one. We could. I don't want to talk about finger. I also don't want to talk about the new last comic I read, the finger banging one. I don't want to talk about that till we talk to the guys again. So.
Oh, you want to talk to those guys again?
Yeah, I totally would. They were a lot of fun. And I like the I really like their comics. So.
Okay. And I haven't read that one because
It's not kid appropriate, and you're gonna be a father.
No, I only bought it for you, you jerk.
Oh, I thought you bought it for both of us.
It was a Christmas gift.
What I get you for Christmas?
You got me nothing, but you've gotten me 2 gifts recently, so don't worry about it.
What 2 gifts did I get you?
A large desk and the baby thing that you just bought. Yeah.
Wasn't the desk for your wedding though?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I mean. Like you've gotten 2 gifts for me in the last year, so I got you an $8 comic book. So I think we're even. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, we're not even.
I'm just joking.
We're good. Close enough.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I guess we should do our outro then, and then we can call it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's. Oh shit. I stopped the recording. Okay. Yeah. 1 second. I like that. I like this Twitch streaming. Honestly.
Why?
Let me show you what it looks like now. Can you see that?
I can see that. Yeah.
So that's how we look now.
Wow. And how many people do we have watching us?
1. Maybe it's just me too. But you know what? It's like it's cool to get it up there because in the future people might see it. Maybe. I don't know. Do you promote this at all, Eric? It's not all my fault.
No, I promote it on Facebook, and that's about it. But
like not as we're coming on, right?
No.
Yeah.
Well, because to me though, it's still more of a podcast than just a streaming thing. I don't really care.
Well, it is. No, I know, but like if we wanted to get into streaming more, now we have a better looking stream. Whereas before it literally just said Zoom, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I personally am not 100% for the stream thing. You're more for that. So.
I know, but like that's the same way that we're not for Discord. I think we're behind the times. And our potential audience might be on Twitch.
Okay. I'm not on Twitch.
You're not?
No, I don't do Twitch.
But I've gotten onto Twitch recently. There's a lot of people on Twitch is my point.
There is a lot of people on Twitch. I never understand why, but they are.
It's like radio, I decided. People are just like leaving it on in the background. It's just constant talking. Yeah, I don't think it's like people are like actively listening. It's kind of like radio, honestly. But you've got a face for Twitter. That's
all right. You want to do the outro?
Sure. Okay. You're not impressed with our Twitch?
No.
I think you should be.
Okay. No, I mean, not.
We have 3 followers, so, and we tend to have viewers pop in off and on while we stream.
Okay.
Just an FYI. So like 5 viewers per episode, usually. But it's hard to like get people to sign up and you know.
Well, being able to is we're not really engaging with them, so like that's also I think the big problem with doing Twitch.
We could engage with them is the point. Like I always say, like feel free to ask questions as we're streaming in the chat.
Okay.
Like the problem is we just need to invite our friends to come watch one episode, and like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And potentially just have somebody that they want to see. Have somebody on they want to see. Like have on like a major comic person. Do you know anyone like that? No.
No.
Okay. All right, let's do our outro.
Okay.
This is not a big deal to me. It's also easier for me to download that and put it on YouTube than to re-export our podcast episode video and put it on YouTube. So like that's another additional reason that we do it this way.
That makes sense.
Okay, we're recording. Okay, wake up.
I'm awake.
Okay, because you fell asleep there for a second. When our guest was signing out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank our guest today, Mr. Javier.
Jorge Zevallos.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Jorge Zevallos.
Jorge Zevallos.
You can find him at Simpler Boulder on Instagram.
Look out for his new comic, but look at his current comic, Wall Breakers.
Wall Breakers. It's anywhere you read comics. It sounded like, but also that the company that put it out is called. Had it up. Hold on. Snowy Works, isn't it? Yeah. Hold on. But also the company that put it out is called Snowy Works, snowyworks.com. They've got a lot of great comics on there. And we're going to speak to their founder in a couple of weeks, actually. So that's cool. Eric, where can people find us?
They can find us on our website, dumbcomiccreators.com. They can find us on the Facebook, facebook.com/dumbcomiccreators. They can find us on the Instagram, instagram.com/dumbcomiccreators. On the Patreon, give us the monies, patreon.com/dumbcomiccreators. You can find us on the Twitter, twitter.com/dumbcomiccreators.
No, /dumbcreators.
Twitch.com.
Wait, go back to Twitter.
Dumb/dumbcreators.
But we're not even on
Twitter.
Twitter
is...
But since we can be on Twitter, I made the handle Dumb Creators. So
Dumb Creators.
But we're not really on there. Yeah. I'm just saying we're not actually on there. Don't go follow us on Twitter expecting Dumb Comic Creators stuff because we're not going to do it. It's literally just my Twitter account. But it's Dumb Creators. Okay. What was the last thing? Instagram. I cut you off.
Instagram.com/dumbcreators, twitter.com/dumbcreators, twitch.com/dumbcomiccreators.
Wait. Do you want to know why? It's because the Dumb Comic Creators is too long of a username for Twitter for some reason. You can't have that many characters in your username. I just think it's stupid. And then Dumb Comics was taken, and so I just went with Dumb Creators.
It works for me.
You think it's stupid?
I think it's stupid that it wouldn't fit our name.
I think it's stupid too. Yeah, dumb. So it's Dumb Creators.
I don't think our name's stupid. Dumb Creators. I think it's like a good name.
It is.
I think the fact that Dumb Comic Creators doesn't fit to me is stupid. Like just.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. But again, for our listeners, don't go.
First they ban our president. Now they ban our name. What's next? They're gonna ban our president's name.
I hope they do.
I hope they do. F that guy.
Yeah. Seriously, 100 times.
And so those are all the places you can find us. And F that guy. I hate him.
Yep. We're not apologizing for that. Okay. Let's finish this off by saying crud. What do we say when we want to say that we're leaving?
We need a catchphrase.
Oh, We do need a catchphrase. I had such a good catchphrase ready to go. And you made me all.
Well,
you made me back up. You made me back up.
I didn't make you back up. You chose to back up. I can't make you do anything. I'm in a totally separate city from you in a totally separate room. I can't like reach into the screen and be like, oh, look at this. I got you, Keegan. You got you by the nose.
Emotionally, you made me back up from it.
You didn't do anything.
Yes, you did.
You
are ready to hate it. What if it was the
cheap.
You know what?
Cheap.
It was the greatest catchphrase of all time, and you missed out
I'll
on
never know, and the world will never know
until next week.
Until next week,
when I'll tell you what it was.
Okay.
But this week's catchphrase was.
What's that?
What was it?
Like dumb comic creators, we're there for a week or something. Like, we're good for a week.
We're good for a week.
We're good for a week. I think we're good to be done with that one.
Dumb comic creators, we're good for a week.
Dumb comic creators, we still need a catchphrase.
Our listeners are like, we're good for a week.
No. That's horrible.
Please don't do more than one a week.
I think our like interviews and segments should be so good that they're like right here.
Please do more.
Please do more. Yeah. More than a week.
More than a week. Yeah, but we're good for a week. All right. So without further ado, thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this with your friends. And thanks so much. Drop us a rating.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm Eric Schwartz. You're Keegan Shiner. Bye.
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 Okay, we're done recording. I'm going to stop the stream. Bye, Twitch.
Bye, Twitch.